Alright, now you will see the multiply in action. Once we turn on the flats layer, ta-da! It is overlaying it, putting where the shadows are. Now I usually don't go with just, like, I'm not, okay, happy with this, how it is, the shading, because real shadows are varied in there, like they're darker back here, maybe lighter here, and there's a little glow back here. So I go in and I lock transparency on the shading guide, and I get a white, puffy, very soft brush, and I lower the flow so it doesn't all completely wash out my shadows, and I will adjust as needed. Now, this is one method of this. Now that I think about it, this method is if you're going to just use this shading guide as your shading. What I could do is select the shading guide, go to the flats, go to the layer I want to shade, and say bring the lightness down 30, and you'll have shadows. This is a good method to use if all of your layers are split up, but this is the one I used to use a lot for doing comic pages and standard, but now I'm kind of more inclined to just mess around with the shading guide layer itself. So I'm going to do that. So you take it, doesn't really matter if it's still bluish, you can keep it bluish if you want, but I'm going to, for the sake of grayscale, working with grayscale, I'm going to make it gray, bring the saturation all the way down. And I think I'm going to hide the flats again. So now you can see what I'm doing better. Hold on, I actually see something I want to get rid of. I want to put a little highlight here because it's shiny. And metal things reflect all over the place. It's crazy. Thank you, Sirdubdub, for picking a character with lots of metal. Back to what we're supposed to be doing. Shading guide. Make sure it's locked. And take your big puffy soft edge brush, and like I could put some gradient kind of things all over the place. Just where, well, not all over the place, but within reason. And according to where shadows might be darker, and this is all like you collect the knowledge of how shading should be as you practice. And if something doesn't look right, kind of mess with it until you think it looks better. And it'll come in time. Time and practice and observation. So, do a lot of that. Lots of observing, lots of practice. Now, something I like to do to give it a little more life and glow is to select the shading guide, and then oops, it's freezing. Front edge. Here we go. Some feathered. There we go. That looks nice. See, it just looks like it's glowing. And then you have that selection, invert it, Control-Shift-I, and if you put down some white along the edges, you can see it has this kind of glowing effect, which I like to use a lot. So I'm going to just take a white gradient and fill the entire thing. Oh, glowing. See, that's a little extreme. I might not do that. Instead, I'm going to center it around this so that it's glowing the most over here. See? Magic. Let's see how that looks with flats. Excellent. Now, I'm going to pause it because I don't think I have much time left. And see you next part.